Hello and welcome to episode 29 of Establish the Collection. I am Cody Main, joined as always by my good friend Gary Hartman. Gary, how's it going, buddy?
I am fantastic, Cody. Not so fantastic. My Knicks lost tonight in a game that they should have won. They made a fantastic comeback, but yet they did lose to the Bulls. But besides that, I'm doing okay. I expected the Cowboys to come out and win tonight. We're recording this on late Thursday evening. They did just that. And, so I'm good.
We are recording late Thursday night. It is a Thursday showdown. As you all know, I am the showdown virgin here at Establish the Run, parent company of Establish the Collection. I've got my "Don't Dupe Me, Bro" shirt on.
That.
Shout out to Peter Overzet, a true legend in the content game. We got a lot to talk about in terms of hobby news and notes, and we've been kind of doom and gloom a little bit, if you will, talking kind of the downturn, the recent downturn of the hobby and what we have to look ahead to, but haven't really talked a whole lot on just generic news and notes around the hobby. And as always, it keeps us busy. As soon as we think there's kind of a lull, as soon as we think that there aren't many headlines being made, we get boom, back to back to back in the physical, the digital, the fractional streets. So Why don't we kick it off with our good friends at Dibbs, announced today I think he's the second richest man in the world, Jeff Bezos, and his company Amazon are now investors in Dibbs, the fractional card platform that Gary and I have been thoroughly enjoying throughout the football and basketball season, trying to onboard new users and trying to get you guys familiar with their website, with their platform. But good stuff to see for our friends at Dibbs getting some money out of Jeff Bezos' pocket.
Awesome, man. It's a fantastic for the hobby. I mean, say what you want about Amazon, whatever you want to say about Amazon. I'm not going to get into that. I use Amazon quite often, whatever you want to say. The fact that Amazon, as you said, the second richest man in the world, biggest company, whatever you want to say, at least the fact that they are investing in this stuff, in cards, in fractional, whatever you want to say, that is good. There's just no denying the fact that is good. So happy about what the news out of Bloomberg, I think, broke it that Amazon is investing in Dibbs as collectibles become more of a thing, and just very, very happy about that.
I feel like I say this often, but isn't it so refreshing to know that people with a lot more money than you and I, people with a lot more probably skin in the game, even, I guess, compared to what Jeff Bezos is worth, not necessarily percentage wise, but it's nice to know that people with as much wealth and as many avenues as they have to invest their money are choosing collectibles as a form of way, a place to store their value. So I love that. It's encouraging. Absolutely. When we get big companies, when we get venture capital, when we get individual sports investors. DeAndre Hopkins is involved. A lot of smart athletes are involved. And not only fractional, but in sports cards as well. Kevin Durant's venture, thoroughly involved in collectibles. So it's just good to see that stuff.
Yeah, he's not the first and he won't be the last, right? We saw Mark Cuban get into Golden. We saw Alexis Ohanian get into alt, right? We saw all of these guys and, Reddit, Cuban, all this stuff be involved in the hobby. It's great news. It's great sign for things to come. And I think this is just another sign of that. And Dibbs, we've talked about Dibbs a lot. They are still really in their infancy in a lot of ways, but we've talked about all the things that they're doing that are really a great indicator, or at the very least, a fantastic, innovative option to get involved in this hobby. And Amazon clearly recognized that, got involved, and good on Evan and the team over at Dibbs, and good on Amazon for doing it. We're very excited about the future there. So.
And along those same lines, not only did they announce the new funding from Amazon, they have also recently launched the ability to sell your cards on Dibbs. I don't know if you caught that, but basically, as long as the card is already listed on the platform, so one that I was looking at earlier, my Dak Prescott 2016 Prism Silver PSA 10, as long as the card is on the platform, you can option to sell that through Dibbs' platform, and you can retain or allow as much as you'd like to be sold. So I think that's pretty innovative. It's a way to kind of offer liquidity while still maintaining some upside in the card. So if you want to offload 50% of your 2016 Dak Prescott, you certainly can. You can retain 50%, and it's just a new way for us that have been collecting the physical streets to get a little bit more liquidity. So I thought that was pretty encouraging sign from them, and very innovative as well.
Yeah, really, really smart. Just a fantastic entry point for Dibbs as far as just the general user being able to sell their stuff on their platform. Makes sense the way they're doing it, kind of having the stuff that's already up there. You can kind of dive in and get involved. And I think they'll just continue to expand upon that idea. And I believe that it'll become a more user-friendly as well as just kind of alternative place to be able to sell your collection, sell your inventory, whatever it may be for you. But yeah, very exciting stuff coming out of Dibbs for sure.
All right. What about this National Treasures 1 Zion Logo Man that was pulled, I think, in China?
Yep,
I was trying to follow along with the live stream. One of the biggest chases in the hobby over the last few years. I'm sure you found yourself in many a break room hoping to land this bad boy. I know you've got some nice Zion RPAs of your own. What are your thoughts on the holy grail of Zion collectibles finally being pulled?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. This is definitely something that I had my eyes and ears on for a while, especially I mean, when NT 2019-20 came out, it was definitely maybe not the peak of my breaking days and the peak of my like buying days, but it was close to it. And it was kind of after, and I was spending a lot of money going after this card, going after that class in general, because I believed in it. And obviously I knew that the numbers that were out on this card, $500,000, $750,000 bounties that were on this card, I think got up to $1 million maybe at one point. I actually don't remember off the top of my head, but I believe this guy has had, the guy that ended up hitting it, I think it was out of China in a break, has had offers, upwards of that. And I don't know if he's taken them yet, but, legitimately the best possible Zion Williamson card you can have. There's definitely been a little bit of a concern as far as him not being able to get on the floor. Came out a couple of days ago that he's going to start being able to ramp up with practice activity. Then we get today, Thursday, that gets pushed back a little bit of a setback. We're getting pushed back a week. So I think this is going to be a problem for Zion as long as he isn't in, peak shape at the very least, which I don't believe he is in. And that's a problem for, some of his high-end investing. That said, for somebody that was maybe the most hyped prospect in the hobby since LeBron, there's not going to be a shortage of buyers for a card like this. So it's a big deal that his legitimate pinnacle card was pulled. Happy to see it out in circulation. I think it's a good thing for the hobby and hoping to see Zion back on the floor sooner than later.
Talk through the thought process when you pull that card, right? Like you've been chasing it for 2+ years now. You finally hit it, right? It's possibly a 7-figure card. Zion's now injured. There's certainly some doubts about his long-term sustainability with that body style, with that play style, with that athleticism. And if it doesn't age well, it could end poorly for him. What is just your general thought process when you pull that card? What is Gary Hartman doing the moment that card comes out?
I think my initial thought is, like, if you're involved in this hobby, especially when that 1920 came out a year and a half ago or whatever it was, about those bounties that were on that card. So your initial thing is this still worth what those bounties were saying it was worth, right? So if that is the case, you want to then go and at least inquire about the fact, can I still get this 750,000, 500,000, whatever the original bounty was on it? That doesn't mean you have to make any decision on selling or whatever it is, but you're going to have no shortage of suitors, both auction and private, buyers alike, that are going to show interest in this card. So I think you let most of the action come to you at that point. And I don't think that, because everyone knows that it's out there and that bounty did exist, I do think you have a floor of price that you can sell if you want to sell it. But if I would probably wait at this point, because at least he's ramping up with practice activity. I think that I would wait till he's back on the floor. Even if he is going to be a chronic injury concern, even if he is going to not be what we think he's going to be, there will be a time that he is back on the floor and flashing while he's still very, very young. Right. So like, we just see this happen all the time with superstars. Like, when they get on the court and they're still in their prime or before prime, they will be able to show their peak. And I think I'm waiting until at least that before I'm making any moves on this card, even though it's risky, because you're holding a legitimate possible 7-figure asset in your hands.
Right. I am curious, because it is a 7-figure asset. Are you looking to get that thing slabbed up immediately? Are you looking to try and get that to PSA or BGS or whoever right when you get it?
So NT is a real mixed bag as far as if it can grade or not. Like, I have a Tyler Hero that I graded myself, a true RPA that did gem a 9.5, but you could tell very quickly because of the they're 130 point. You could tell very quickly because of the thickness if it's something that actually is in good condition or not. And so I think this person can make a determination if they'd actually want to sell it, grade it or not. Now, that doesn't mean not slab it, but grade it, because you'll be able to tell on the edges very quickly if it is worthy of grading. And if there's like edge wear, which a lot of these cards do have, it's going to get like an 8.5 or an 8, and that might not be worth grading. Again, a 101, you can do whatever you want, really.
Sure.
Like, if you want to grade it, sure. But at the very least, yes, what I would do is send it to PSA or Beckett for authentication and slabbing. So then what that is doing is it's going to grade the autograph a 10, hopefully, and it's going to authenticate it, and then it's going to protect it. That's probably what I would do.
Perfect. I wanted to go there because we have some news out of PSA recently, and PSA's parent company, Collectors Universe. It sounds like, just based off of some communication from Nat Turner, that they are going to open up their regular services soon. They have not yet announced prices, and it will be on a very limited basis. So still some stuff up in the air as far as that goes. There's going to be a certain number of allocated submissions per day, and obviously their main focus is still eliminating that massive backlog that they're dealing with from earlier this year. So this just brings up another good point for anyone that's interested in kind of the data in the hobby. I don't know if you followed along GemRate, and we've talked a little bit about GemRate on the show, but they're doing some awesome stuff kind of behind the scenes, just doing the tracking data of cards that are graded, which categories they're graded in, how many cards PSA is grading per day. So I think if you guys are interested in just kind of seeing the volume that PSA is dealing with at this point, if you want to check it out, gemrate.com, some interesting analysis there in terms of just which cards are being graded and how many of them are. Do you have any thoughts on what regular submissions might look like when PSA is fully reopened? Prices, turnaround time, anything that you're anticipating?
Yeah, I'll address just the fact that hopefully this is happening soon, which I think is mostly a good thing. And I'd say mostly a good thing because we are still seeing just an overhaul of slabs come back into circulation that are very, very cheap slabs. So, that is going to continue to happen as those get back. What I do think is going to happen is they're going to set these prices at a number where they're going to try to discourage you from sending in a $10 card or $15 card. And it does, they didn't, when people sent those cards in like ultra modern $10 card, they didn't know that, the modern, the base and like that bottom would drop out the way it has. Sure. So I think what they're going to end up doing, and I don't know this is pure speculation, but I would imagine that it's still going to be somewhere between $30 and $50 a card for your cheapest tier. I would think right now we're still at $150 on the Express. Again, that's pure speculation, but I think that they, especially knowing that they have so much stake in the game right now, they're such a big player in everything that's going on. I think that they would understand the value of scarcity. They'd understand the value of being able to keep their company open and moving and keeping product rolling through, keeping slabs being encapsulated. So I do think that we will see a higher price than we ever saw before for your cheapest tier, but hopefully still affordable for someone that wants to send in a card that's worth sending in, right? Like if you have a $400 card that's sitting there and it could be $650 because it's graded, or $700, like you should be able to send that card in for a reasonable price. Even for the premium of $50 of grading it, you're still getting $250 profit, whatever it is. I think you need to find that sweet spot, and I trust that they'll be able to do it.
Yeah, that's such a good point. There's a need, and just in terms of supply and demand, there is a need to increase those prices to discourage some of those base cards from continuing to flood PSA's offices. It's just crazy with the pop counts that we're starting to see, and I'm sure even print runs of cards in years past have a lot of base cards. They just weren't being sent in at that time, at that frequency, at that volume. Right. So you're seeing 20,000 plus PSA 10 base cards for guys like Zion and Luka and Ja. And it's just completely unsustainable. If you think about those things in terms of market cap and total number of collectors that are interested in buying those things, it was pretty clear, I think, that the bottom was going to fall out. Maybe not to the degree that it has and so quickly, but I think just based off of the volume that we were seeing, it was pretty clear the volume was going to fall out. What about the other news from PSA's parent company, Collectors Universe? They have acquired Card Ladder, and we've both of us use Card Ladder. Both of us talk about Card Ladder a lot on this show. It's a great resource. I think one big concern, I guess, from collectors or from people that are using these tools is, can they truly remain, agnostic of card grader, right? Because they're going to be tied to PSA, and they provide pricing and data for BGS and other SGC, other card graders. Can we expect them to truly remain agnostic just in terms of data sources and data that they're providing when they're so closely connected to PSA?
Yeah, that is my concern. And I understand the purchase. I mean, Card Ladder really took off like right before we started this podcast.
Yep.
You know, and so it's been really only around for like a year-ish, as far as like an actual resource. So, and it is, you know, by far the best resource of coming onto the scene and looking at things from a just straight up, like, let me look at the same stuff that we have for NFTs and Top Shot. Like, clearly someone,
such good resources on the NFT side, and they've done that.
And someone saw that from a hobby perspective, said we need this, and created it. And I understand PSA wanted to come and swoop in and buy it. My hope would be that because like right now we see with Card Ladder that they are very, you know, like hit and miss of what cards they have up there. I understand it's still kind of a new company, a startup. Like, I don't know what the process is for them evaluating a card's history and a card's sales performance, but we do see a mix of raw SGC, BGS, PSA on there right now. I don't like the same way Fox News has the, you know, opportunity to kind of spin, or CNN, whatever side you're on, I don't care. The opportunity to spin, you know, the story, if you will. Card Ladder kind of has that power right now with where they are in the hobby. You know, if you're looking up a LeBron card, like PSA owns that company now, they can decide if you only could see the PSA, which at the end of the day will have an effect on the bottom line of the BGS version of that card. So my hope is they would act with integrity and would just kind of want to be you know, act within good faith of the hobby. But, you know, I'd be lying if I'd say that, like, you know, they're going to come in and try to make this company much bigger than what it is right now, because it's already considered kind of like the go-to resource for just performance, like looking at a card like a stock. And, you know, I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned. I mean, it's not that big a deal because you can do your own research, but at the same time, this has become a legitimate company that people rely on. And I want to make sure it's not so heavily, you know, lean towards PSA.
Yeah, and they've done such a good job of just putting everything under one umbrella. I hope it remains that way. And we've said this about other partnerships, if you will, or acquisitions, mergers that PSA and Collectors Universe has been a part of, and we haven't really seen any ill effects of that. So I don't think we have any reason to believe at this point. It's just something to keep an eye on. You know, if we start seeing more of a focus on PSA versus BGS and SGC and other of the big name brand companies, it'll just be an interesting thing to keep an eye on. But
for sure,
I think it's exciting news. We need collectors that are informed. We need collectors that have the data at their ready to make good investing decisions and good collecting decisions. That's why we started this podcast. That's why we use Card Ladder, because they've been such a good resource.
Yes, I should say that is the flip end of this, right? Like they get PSA's backing and they become, you know, way more powerful and more of a tool than they already are, which is good for every member of the hobby and every collector. So yes, I agree.
All right, one last just major piece of news item. I've talked about Rally a lot on here. Rally has a bunch of cool assets ranging from the Declaration of Independence to dinosaur bones to all of the sports cards you could ever imagine in between. I know you got your hands on the Declaration of Independence.
Oh yeah. Big American guy.
What a sick run out for a true American. You know, you get the Constitution DAO, which I don't know if you followed that at all. Basically crowdfunding an effort to buy the Constitution. So basically it was, and I should not be the one to explain a DAO.
That's okay.
But it's decentralized, autonomous, something or other. Anyway, it's basically people were sending ETH to try and purchase the Constitution at auction, and they got like 42 million or so in donations, and the bid amount was basically known because they were telling how much ETH they had received in terms of what they could bid up to, and someone came out and stole it from underneath of them by outbidding them. So anyway, on the heels of that, then Rally.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, it's a good story. If you, I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard
like
about it
in
by
general
now,
about crypto and the blockchain. Like it could a potential, you know, downside of it, I guess.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Like it's almost too transparent.
You don't want your bid amount to be known if there's other wealthy people that can just simply bid $1 above whatever it is that you're bidding.
You know, me over here, huge American history guy. I jumped at the opportunity for that item. I loved it. I love it.
So the Declaration of Independence goes live, is fully funded quickly. And then I don't know if you've even seen this. I know you're super busy with NBA and NFL and everything in between, but they got a buyout offer already
with the declaration.
With the Declaration
of
Independence.
I did not see that. Oh no!
So you
I
probably didn't. You probably didn't get your no vote in because obviously, as a true American, you're never going to sell your shares of the Declaration of Independence. Exact date, I don't know, but it was pretty recent. I think the vote's probably over by now. You get 48 hours after a
so we don't know if
buyout offer is received. But I don't know if we've gotten official results
we don't.
yet.
I see the email now from Tuesday. Yeah, I missed it. So all right.
Anyway, the buyout offer represented, as you can see in your email there, I think a 40% increase over the IPO value. So just a sick run out for Rally, whether it's accepted or denied, I would hope, just kind of based off the buzz and the average investment amount of this particular item. I would hope that it's denied, right? Who cares about
I want it to be denied.
You want to hold on to your damn shares.
100%.
Just a true American, Gary Hartman.
I would have been a big vote no. I would have started rallying votes. I would have started knocking on doors.
Getting petition signed. Hell yeah. More importantly, though, as good as this was just in terms of generic organic marketing for Rally, they announced on the heels of that they are going to basically live bid ask system that's matched throughout the week, as opposed to these 90-day lockout periods that we've been subjected to in the past. So finally we get live trading. Finally we get some liquidity in this market. You're better able to take advantage of trading windows. I can't tell you how many times that I would invest in an asset, and then shortly after I had invested, or shortly after I had purchased more shares, there would be some major catalyst, right? It could be an MVP award is announced, or it could be a Super Bowl run, or it could be any number of things.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Whatever it may be. And I'm just not able to sell those shares because they're locked up for 90 days. So now with live trading, bids and asks are matched throughout the day. I love it. It's great for Rally's ecosystem as a whole, and I'm just very excited to kind of double down once again on fractional in terms of how I allocate most of my collectibles dollars.
Yep. And when I got into this, that's what I told you from the beginning. My biggest concern was okay, yeah, I believe in the things I'm investing in. But I don't like that I can't do anything with them for a certain period of time, or at least for a good period of time. And so very, very happy with what Rally's doing, because I really, really do like Rally as a company. I think they get great items. They were my first exposure to the fractional space. I have a good, solid portfolio with them now, and excited that I can both sell and bid on items that I was not privy to at IPO. So really, really happy about it.
Good stuff. And it should be stated, just as an aside, that most of these items are, in my eyes, long-term holds. There's not a whole lot of flipping happening here. These aren't the type of items that you necessarily even need to trade like you would day trade or flip certain lower end stuff. But it is nice when you want to exit a position or add on to a position, you are free to do so more frequently at this point. All right, let's get into the fun stuff, because we finally have some news out of NFL Top Shot, or as they're calling it, NFL All Day, NFL Adrian Peterson.
Yes.
Not NFL Blitz, as many of us had liked. What was your go-to?
I liked Blitz too.
Yeah, Blitz was good.
I like our friend Ryan. I just think, I guess the concern was that EA Sports or whoever owns that title still does own it, but I don't think it would have been that big of a deal to try to go out and buy it from them. But hey, I don't know. I guess it's probably wasn't worth it. Yeah, listen, the name is a name. Once the product will be judged on the product.
Yes.
And once it comes out, we will go over it then and look at it and be excited about it. But all day, ADED, all day, every day, Adrian Peterson, whatever it may be, I'm fine.
I think the biggest piece of news is that we kind of finally are able to put some names, some ideas to the moments, if they're still going to call them those, that are going to be out on the blockchain, that are going to be out on the platform. They came out with their 3 sets. We've got the base, the common set that we've been familiarized with on the NBA Top Shot platform. We've got the rare set, and just today was announced the iconic, the legendary set. Yep. So let's just run through those real quick. And if anything stands out, stop me, or if you want to just jump at the end here, let's just kind of talk through. So the common moments, the first one is a set called He Called Game. Top Shot says here, Dapper says here, it's over. Whether it was punched across the goal line by the offense, sailed through the uprights on a kicker's foot, shout out Justin Tucker, or came down to a big defensive stop. These are the moments that send one team home happy and the other back to the drawing board. I think that's great. We had kind of joked about the kickers, the Justin Tucker moment, what he hit a 60-some yarder in Detroit already this season. So I think that's pretty cool. Move the chains is the next one. The building blocks of great drives, first downs. These moments keep the ball moving down the field on the march toward the end zone. All I picture here is a wide receiver standing up after he catches a 9-yard route and doing one of these.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely. Yep.
Next one, make the stop. Basically just a defensive category here. Safe sack, a pick, a tackle for a loss, forces a turnover on downs. Taysom Hill is very familiar with those after tonight's performance. But getting the defensive side of the ball involved, it'll be interesting just from a financial aspect. Obviously, we're in this for the hobby, for the fun, for the collectability, but we do want to turn this thing into a profitable hobby. I am curious how users on the platform will turn this into a money-making opportunity, like with guys on the defense, and we'll talk here in a second on the trenches. Anything stand out from those first common sets? Anything that gets the juices flowing for you?
No, I mean, it all makes sense to me. The he called game, I guess, slightly surprised that that's not more of a higher up tier, kind of a game winning play or moment, if you will. But the move the chains and make the stop, that makes sense to me. I'm very, as I said to you, I think when we started talking about this, I'm very curious to see if defensive players hold any more value here than they do in the regular hobby, because I think they actually might, because like we're able to see visually the impact that they're having. And I think, like, an Aaron Donald disruption or freaking a crazy pick or whatever it may be, I think, it does make sense for it to have a little bit more value here, especially if it's like a truly iconic game moment, right? Like similar to Trae Young, we talk about whatever, shushing the crowd. Like there's going to be things like that. So I'm curious. I'm kind of having my eye on that. And he called game. I think that's going to be a fun one because, obviously game winning plays are important.
All right, we start to get into the more rare sets, the locked in rare core set, the stuff that we think will, if it aligns with NBA Top Shot, will hold more value long term. This, baby, this is where we get in the trenches, which, as we joked about with Ryan is very much into offensive line, defensive line play, very much of the school of Evan Silva. We get the in the trenches. The special edition is all about line play because that's where the game is won, as they say. Bursting through to take down the quarterback, pancake block. I love that, man. I want to see some big 350-pound hog mollies, as our good friend Dave Gettleman would say, just blowing people up.
There will be no Giants in this set because the Giants haven't a good offensive line in 5 years, 8 years, whatever it may be. But yes, as our not good friend Dave Gettleman would say, hog mollies, we're excited about that. Yes.
Love to see that. Afterburners, the Afterburner Special Edition is the definition of speed. These moments are where you see some of the fastest guys in the league turn on the jets, whether it be on long runs, quick to the quarterback sacks, or speedy QB sneaks. Man, that brings up a really bad memory of, and I think you know where I'm going with this, Daniel Jones, talking about speed. I think he was one of the fastest players in the league on that run where he, where the grass just jumped out and absolutely ate up his ankles. But I think of these type of plays.
That'll be on there. The ghost tackle, for sure. Yeah. I mean, he got, you have the excuse that he was so fast on it, whatever it may be. Yeah. Totally.
This is the Tyreek Hill set. This is the Jonathan Taylor running away from defense set.
And it's the DK Metcalf tackle.
That's great. But
they should do a mix of that with ridiculous plays, like the Daniel Jones,
the bloopers.
Right. Or like the drop the ball before you actually cross the goal line type thing after a pick six or something. We should do that because that's fun. And I would like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think encouraging kind of the psychological attachment to these plays, because we're all watching. I mean, the Raiders-Cowboys game was viewed by like 38+ million people or whatever. And it's how you differentiate
yourself from the hobby, right? Like it's
for sure.
If you're trying to make NFTs win, and we've talked a lot about that, and we both agree there's a space for both. If you're trying to make NFTs win, you get silly. Like that is what you do, and make people want to buy up those moments. And that's what will happen because there's no precedent to thinking that freaking 99-yard kick return touchdown by Dante Hall might be what sells. It might be, maybe, but like get creative here. Let's have funny plays. Let's have bloopers. Let's have stuff like that. I think
there is a reason why we're talking about Dapper and NFL all day as opposed to Panini's NFTs, right? Panini is dropping Mosaic NFTs tomorrow for the NFL. of this.
Dropped them yesterday. I bought a pack for $10. I don't know why.
Okay. Yeah. See, so I don't even know.
Yeah.
So
but
we
have
the
base packs. They bought the
okay.
base
So we have
packs.
officially licensed NFTs from Panini for this rookie class that we're all excited about. And we're not talking about them because they're just doing pictures online. You know, what NFL All Day and what Dapper is doing with this product, we hope. And if they continue to mirror what they've done with Top Shot in terms of doing the video highlights and packaging them up in a fun way, it's just going to be so much better and beyond just a much better product. So
totally.
Last one in this set, Ball Hawk. I love this one. Precision on punching the ball, picking it off, taking it back the other way. Again, we saw that tonight with Taysom Hill. I don't know who the defensive lineman was for the Cowboys that picked it off, but pretty good stuff to seal the game there. And I'm actually wrong. There's 4 more in this set. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Game changer. Sometimes you can just feel the momentum change. Plays that swing a game. That sounds like an exciting one. Showtime. This will be a great one. I love this one. It's as much about the moment as it is about how you celebrate it. These players paired a big time play with a big time celebration. Although, I mean, the No Fun League might have just come out and absolutely ruined this set before it even gets started, because what type of celebrations are we even allowed to do anymore?
Taunting all day, man. Taunting all day. No, but we have years and years for them to draw upon, so hopefully we'll get some fun there.
That's a good question, because do you think we see moments from this year first?
I think it'll be a mix.
Or do you think we'll see historic?
I would imagine probably this year for the first set. Sure. I would imagine.
That's kind of my thought process too.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, last 2 in this set, launch codes 3, 2, 1. These moments highlight deep connections that took the top off of defenses and flipped the field, or big time blasts from a kicker to put 3 points on the board. Oh, interesting. So we're throwing in.
That is interesting. So it's basically like not Hail Marys, but long completions, right?
Long completions, and then also throwing in the kickers, which
that's
shout out to the kickers.
Hill. That's a lot of Tyreek Hill and a lot of Justin Tucker, I suppose. That's interesting. Okay.
And then the 2-minute drill. This will, another interesting one. Obviously, this is what we're hoping for as fantasy players, as DFS players. We're looking for those plays in the 2-minute drill.
Yep.
Those high value touches from running backs and quick passes for receivers. Let's close it out here quickly with the iconic set. These legendary ones. These are going to be the ones that really hold value if things are going to parallel the Top Shot market. Rookie revelation. The best rookies announce their arrival in grand fashion. The special edition features the moments when you know that rookie with promise, or when you knew that rookie with promise was officially ready to be a force in the league. Don't know if we've seen much of that this year outside of 2 guys. So this will be an interesting set. I don't know what they'll do for Zach Wilson. Maybe a pick that wasn't a pick 6. We'll see what they're able to come up with in terms of rookie revelation.
Yep.
The What a Drive series. It takes an entire team to execute in the game's biggest moments and string together a pivotal drive. This special edition captures the collective effort it takes to march a team down the field in a critical situation. Interesting. And then Hoodwinked. This is where we get into your silliness that you were asking. Teams dug deep into their bag of tricks, and what did they find? The special edition. It's the kind of thing you draw up in the dirt or on the playground, the Philly, if you will. It's where play calling creativity meets flawless execution. It's when football really gets fun. So here you go. Here's your silliness.
Your Ted Lassos,
here's your fun.
Your Philly specials, all that stuff. Yep, that will be fun, and fake punts and all that. Where does the Hail Murray fit in here? What does that fit under? Because I think there's so many. Like, I'm pretty impressed with most of these categories, but I think they can get even into more. And
I think it would be a fun exercise, and an exercise we could implore the audience to help us with too, if they want to, send us some recommendations or some shouts on Twitter. Feel free to do so at Establish the Collection. Check us out on Twitter and send us your recommendations on some of your favorite plays. For each of these categories. I think that would be fun. We can kind of brainstorm these ideas.
Yeah, I would imagine the Stephon Diggs touchdown in the playoffs would be on What a Drive, right? Like, I think things like that, anytime game winning or whatever it may be. But I'm curious to see where people think the hats and the buckets that some of these our favorite plays fit into. So, and I want to hear just people's general thoughts on NFL Day. Are you excited? Do you want to know more? Are you like all in the second this thing drops? I want to know everyone's thoughts, because I'm excited, and I will be in from the start. But we've seen the peaks and valleys of NBA Top Shot, and this is an exciting venture for Dapper, especially in America. So I want to hear everyone's thoughts. I'm really excited to hear feedback on what people think.
All right, I want to get out of there. I want to get out of here on NFL Top Shot, but the rookie revelation thing really reminded me of, we've got products coming out. We've got products now coming out on Panini NFT. Apparently that's going to be their go-to first, and eventually we'll see physical products. But just curious in general, as Mac Jones is now kind of running away with Rookie of the Year, now a minus 300 favorite. Sounds like he's pretty much a shoo-in to win that award. Big game coming up against the AFC East rivals, the Buffalo Bills. Just really curious on how you're planning on handling this class. Again, I know we've kind of hashed this over a few times, but just curious on how you're handling this class now that we are starting to see products, and now that NFL All Day is going to be in our laps here hopefully soon.
It's very similar to like LaMelo Ball and when those guys' first products came out. And it's like, you can look right now, there's the 2021 Donruss PSA 10 for Mac Jones. Yes, it's only a pop of 35 because people haven't, don't want to send a paper card to get graded right now necessarily, but that's a $1,500 card right now. That will not stay a $1,500 card as more things come out. So it's just, what it's always telling you is, as the top stuff of Mac Jones comes out, it's going to rise to the top as the cream of the crop, as a quarterback that's probably going to Rookie of the Year in Boston. We've talked about all of it. But if you get something in a modern product, your top selling window will be within that first 2 weeks of it being out before another product comes out. I promise you. So Spectre comes out next week. I promise you hit an RPA at a Spectre, which is a sticker autograph, by the way, most of the time, pretty much all the time. It will be its highest in that 2 weeks because there's nothing else to compare it to. It's at that point, it is its highest rookie patch autograph. It's its highest relic auto, whatever it may be. That is going to be your highest opportunity to sell Mac Jones. So until the real flagship stuff, until Prism, National Treasures, Optic, Flawless, whatever, until that stuff comes out, you have your selling windows right now. Now, that is not to say if you are looking at Mac Jones as or whoever, I'm just using Mac Jones as the example because he is the example, as a long-term investment, you can do that. That's fine. But no, you are not going to have windows to sell this guy at this level until he wins a Super Bowl, if that ever happens. I promise you that right now. That's all. That's where we're at.
Just to piggyback off of that point, because I was looking at a few other guys that I'm interested in at this point, more established veterans. We talked about that Kaboom that everyone's chasing, that we're all chasing. And Mac Jones's Kaboom is up to $2,800. $2,800. If you look at Lamar Jackson, an MVP, his 2,800 Kaboom graded a PSA 10 last sold for $29.25. I can't believe that.
Yep. It's recency. It's mostly recency. It's just the fact that this is what's in circulation and this is his most short printed case hit card right now. So it's not going to stay that way. And it may be that a Mac Jones PSA 10 Kaboom is forever more valuable than a Lamar. I don't know. Maybe. But it's a great comparison point and a great point that you have windows right now. I'm not telling you to sell it if you believe in Mac Jones and that's your guy and you're chasing him and all that stuff. That's cool. But if you have some Mac Jones just by chance, if you were chasing him for a flip, I would do it before the next release comes out because you're going to see this pattern. We have Spectre coming out next week, and then we have on the 15th Impeccable. Those have really cool RPAs. And then we have Illusions. That's not so great. But we have, you're going to still see as December, January, February come in. Prism eventually will come. Optic eventually will come. You're going to see more and more. So I think we have a couple of examples right now that you can take advantage of. But good on Mac Jones. He's going to win Rookie of the Year. He's going to maybe get a 1 or 2 seed. Good for him.
A lot more football that we wanted to get into, but I think we can leave it there. I think we're going to get a lot more information just from the Week 13 that is upcoming. We've got a big hobby matchup between Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow on Sunday.
Excited about that.
Hopefully some things that will kind of settle its way into the MVP market, a market that apparently no one wants to win this year, as every quarterback seems to put up a dud as soon as they cement themselves as a true contender. So we'll maybe see some separation in that market as well, and get back to that next week, along with some NBA topic discussion. hopefully we get some more information. I know Evan Mobley is back. This rookie class is performing well. Anthony Edwards continues to perform well from last year's class. And
what
LaMelo, man. I mean,
what a second year leap for Edwards too. And LaMelo just continues to ascend. Yeah, we had some young stars in this league. It's very exciting. Very, very exciting. Yeah.
All right. Let's leave it there, my friend. Appreciate you guys being here. Again, I know we keep saying we want to get somebody from Dibbs on. These guys are super knowledgeable, and especially on the heels of the Amazon announcement. Would love to get
we're going to try hard for next week because, Cody and I's recording schedule is all over the place. We're super busy. Cody's a dad and working 2 jobs. I am grinding my face off with NBA, but we're going to try to kind of get more of a daytime shoot next week and get some of these guys from Dibbs on because we have a lot to talk about with them.
All right. For Gary, I'm Cody. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care, everyone.